Hey everybody, it's Stephanie from thirdgradethoughts.com, and I'm really excited to be walking through a few of the new pieces of my interactive health notebook. If you're like me, our health is part of our standards-based report cards, and I was really struggling with being able to teach meaningful health lessons and not just fill out a quick worksheet and kind of be done with it, but really make it more of a year-long process. I think, we talk about reading strategies and writing strategies, and I think health is exactly the same way, and that there are certain strategies that we just need to keep practicing across the entire year and, of course, throughout our entire lives to stay really healthy and happy as humans. And so what I'm hoping is that this interactive health notebook will give you some ideas of how to incorporate health in quick and meaningful lessons, but eventually create a notebook that will be more of a journal about your health journey throughout this year and give you some really good strategies. So I'm not going to walk through all of them right now. There's over 45, and I definitely continue to plan on adding to this, as I delve in deeper with my kids this year. But I basically am just going to be setting this up in a notebook. I took some of these out of my notebook just so I could show them to you quickly in this video. But what I like to do on the top is you can either just write down the topic that's on the top of the page that carries this note catcher, or you can do what I do, which is put it in terms of a question. I really like my kids to be thinking about the answers to the question as they fill these out, and I feel that that has really given us some of the best interactive notebook responses. I use interactive notebooks a lot in science and social studies, so health was a really natural addition. But also we're starting to do it a little bit more now in reading and writing, and I think my kids find it easier to fill this out when they're answering a question, and then I sort of like phrasing it in that way. It sort of builds on the inquiry of the whole process. So this is just a simple one to get the kids started on what do the systems do. And what I really like about this is that, it's just fun, right? It sort of folds in and doesn't take up too much, so they can actually use this as a quiz for later on if they want to just look at the organ names. And then here is the name of the system. In this, I like to list not just what organs are a part of it, but then, of course, answering the question, what does it actually do? There are a lot of parts of our health curriculum that focus on the effect of smoking and just tobacco use in general, and the effect of secondhand smoke. And so there's two of these in the packet, effects of tobacco and effects of smoking, just depending on the wording and how you'd like to cover that. But again, just something really important for kids to know about. The stopping the spread of germs is another thing that's really a huge focus. And so what I've liked to do with this is just have the kids color these in, and then underneath, as they open up the flat book, just be jotting down what it is and how they can incorporate that into their life, right? So for example, they're coughing into their elbow, right, or into their arm instead of coughing into their hand, right? They're sneezing into a tissue instead of sneezing into their hand or sneezing into the person across from them. Hand sanitizer, soap, keeping table surfaces clean, all of that good stuff. The 5 food groups is a really flexible note catcher. This is just a general question, what are the 5 food groups? And then they're listed here. What I have used this for in the past is just obviously writing down examples of what are certain fruits, but you can also even use this as a meal planner if you wanted to, and do one for breakfast, one for lunch, one for dinner. You can have the kids fill out their own favorites in this, which is really nice, because a lot of the times, there's pretty obvious answers for vegetables, right? Broccoli, carrots, whatever. But if the kids hate those, then it's not really that, that inspiring for them to be eating from each of the food groups. So really, again, making it personal, which is the great part about the interactive notebook, and having kids fill out their own favorites, which is great. And then you could just say, what are my favorites from the 5 food groups? So this one actually has the question along the side, and so it was really easy just to copy over. What I love about this note catcher is that I really like to work with the kids on dispelling myths about these different words, because they hear that all calories are bad, all carbs are bad, all fats are bad, right? And so I really want to work with them in this and just let them know that there are healthy fats, that there are healthy carbohydrates or healthy calories, right? And so so this is a really nice part, because by 3rd grade, a lot of the times all they've heard is just the bad part about each of these. This one is another really flexible one that goes into eating and It's just really simple flaps here. And inside they can either write their healthy meal plan that they're going to be making. They can use this as a way to jot what they've eaten so far, right? So like if they're going to go through an entire day and write down everything they eat for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner, they can. If they're going to be, making some recommendations about what would make a healthy meal, there's lots of different ways that you can use this as well. And that's what I just love about all things interactive, is that it's going to look different for each and every kid, and it'll probably look different from how I'm recommending it for you to use, and it'll look different year to year. It's just lovely. I did put a lot in here about bullying because I know that that's just a huge issue right now. And again, I think that is just the good part about using this as a year-long tool, that they can keep these in a notebook and really refer back to them. You can refer back to them as different issues come up in your own classroom. And what I love about this question is who is involved in bullying. A lot of the times when you ask kids that question, they just think the bully, right, or the person getting picked on. And I think the bystander is a huge role that a lot of the kids are now really understanding, right, and how they as a bystander really do impact the bullying situation. So again, just some important words for them to know, as well as just the bullying vocabulary. So that way, then when they hear things like ally or prejudice or target, right, that they actually know and understand what that is, what that looks like. And again, these are just really simple flaps. The best way to do this, and I do talk about this a little bit in the packet, is to actually not cut out these little flaps until the very, very end. So you actually just cut out the big square, fold these, side flaps in, glue it down, and then have the kids cut. Just a little helpful hint along the way. I know that you've probably seen posters of this all over, and I just absolutely love it. And just encouraging the kids to think, THINK, before you speak. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? And I think that is a good thing just in life. And it's also a good thing for kids to be thinking about if they're on social media or even with texting, all of that good stuff. There are 4 of these, and I think I've only done 2 here for the example. When you do this, you just cut out the square, glue these white tabs down, and then after it's dry, you cut, and you just kind of cut down the middle and then from left to right. And so it's a nice way. There's happiness, sadness, uncertainty, and anger, right? And so it's just a nice way for them to really think about how their body responds when they're feeling these emotions. And oftentimes we just say, oh, they're angry. But what does that really look like, sound like, feel like, and how do they act? And again, this is going to be so different for each kiddo, but it just gives them an opportunity to write down and really name those emotions that they're feeling. So for this example, I've just done happiness and sadness, and they're both the same. Would look like, sound like, feel like, act like. But again, just a nice way for kids to really jot down how they feel when they're sad and put a lot of ownership into that, because I think that's really important, not just for the bad emotions, but also for happiness, right? That, I am feeling happy, and that's a good thing, and this is what it looks like and feels like, and I like that feeling. Some strategies for what to do when you feel angry. I've listed a few in terms of counting back, deep breaths, going outside or going for a walk, journaling, talking to someone you trust, or using your own idea. And again, the pictures are on the front, and they can write their own strategies then on the back and what they like to do for that. Managing anger, and again, just being able to name that and know that it is a real feeling, I think is really important for these kids, because we talk just so much about academics, but in school it's also important to really be teaching these life skills that can have a deep and lasting impact. This is something that I usually do throughout the year, and I like this because it's just school goals for the kids, and they can do it, per trimester. They can do it for the whole year. They can talk about also, you can totally rephrase this, right? What am I proud of this trimester? What am I proud of this year in terms of reading, writing, math, and behavior? A nice one, again, just for them to keep with them the whole year. And so they'll have a trimester 1, 2, 3. They could have 2 of them, right? Goals, and then what they're proud of. And it's just a great way for them to be able to look back in their notebook and see, wow, trimester 1, I was really hoping that I would be able to write, 3 paragraphs, right? And now I can write 5 pages. So it's just, again, a great way for them to be keeping all of these health strategies in their notebooks as the year progresses. There's a lot more. Like I said, I only went through just a few. I definitely recommend you download download the preview. In the preview, you'll be able to see the full table of contents with all of these listed, and it can just give you a good idea of all of the health material that's in them. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to stop by my blog, thirdgradethoughts.com, and leave a comment. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.